on a Monday, and it's a great time to check in on the NFC East sub-battle. We have gained narrow ground over Giants now. They have a pretty popular video, so I think that's going to begin to change a little bit. But this is the updated numbers here. Let's make sure we maintain our lead. If you want free Cowboys videos multiple times per day, every single day, hit that sub button. It's youtube.com/CowboysTV. Let's check in on the latest with one CeeDee Lamb, which is, the whole thing is frustrating and annoying, and I would even argue stupid. The main updates are much the same stuff we've had previously, although I kind of surprised it took so long. We've now hit cryptic Instagram post season. CeeDee Lamb posting this earlier this afternoon. Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 3, black suit. What does it mean? Is it no more Mr. Nice Guy? Sometimes the hero has to be the villain to get what he wants. Is it he's suiting up for the season, but he's not happy about it? Is it he just watched the movie and thought it was a banger shot? I don't think it takes a genius, a rocket scientist, a YouTuber, a journalist, anyone to know this has not gone well for the Cowboys and Lamb. There is frustration, as evidenced when he quote tweeted the owner and just said LOL, which is never a good sign. I think Lamb is frustrated by how things are going because every update's the same and the organization keeps saying it's not that big of a deal for us. You getting paid? It's not that big of a deal. Here's what Jerry Jones said in the pregame show for the Cowboys, which, hey, maybe your owner shouldn't be doing a pregame show, but that's how it goes in Big D. We're having the same kind of talks we've been having. Not worried about a target date for the contract, not worried about his shape. Glad he's not out here risking some injury tonight. First off, I hate hey, we're avoiding the injury risk at least. That's such a ridiculous excuse. Do you know why? Because CeeDee Lamb was not going to be playing in the preseason anyway. It's like someone bemoans the fact that it's 100 degrees in August, and the response is, at least it's not snowing. It's August. That was never a threat in the first place. Doesn't mean anything. The AC's broken. Fix the damn AC. The issues here for the Cowboys is the offer's been 33.5-ish, 30 or 32.5, just under it. The issues overall are less about the average per year of this contract. I do want to emphasize that part because that's what most of the reporting is focused on. Here's what Clarence Hill wrote. And I think Hill's earned some good credibility with this whole conversation, by the way. The Cowboys have traded proposals with Lamb agents Tory Dandy since the start of training camp, and they have yet to get to $33 million annually. Contract structure and length also remain roadblocks towards a deal. I think they're not that far off in the actual average per year. But the other elements, the length, the structure, and the guaranteed money are pretty big deals. We've gone through this before. If you agree on the average per year, but not the years, you don't actually agree on the money, despite what the Cowboys might try to tell you. There is a sizable difference, about actually $2 million per year, between 4 years at 33 and 5 years at 33. That is because you can backfill the cut and structure it properly to bring that money down. And guaranteed money matters the most. There's no way around that. Guaranteed money is the most important thing. I can pay a player $50 million per year, but if I do a 5-year deal and it's all backloaded to hell and there's like $10 million guaranteed, it's not really a $50 million per year deal. Extreme example, not with the case with CeeDee Lamb, obviously, but I think that guaranteed money remains your big sticking point here. So will CeeDee Lamb get a deal done by roster cuts? That's your next deadline, right? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off in the comments section. Pin comment of today's show. The Cowboys' notable player, holdout history when it got to training camp and wasn't just like the threats of it. Zach Martin got paid on August 14th. Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys took that one all the way up to September 4th. And then, by the way, gave him everything he wanted because they always do that in contract talks. Emmitt Smith didn't sign until mid-season. I'll be pretty pissed if this is a mid-season holdout. And I would be surprised. A lot of game checks Lamb's forfeiting. But it'd be a really bad sign for the Cowboys. I still think this deal gets done because it's just stupid not to. It doesn't make sense for every party involved. Like, look, Justin Jefferson got $35 million per year on a 4-year deal. A.J. Brown got $32 million per year on a 3-year deal. If we're taking out our fandom, taking out and what we want just to get the damn deal done, right? Outside looking in, that deal should probably be closer to Justin Jefferson than it should be for A.J. Brown. And that's true in both the average per year and probably the guaranteed money as well. Now, the A.J. Brown deal was a further out extension, so you can asterisk it if you want to, and maybe the Cowboys are trying to do that. But, look, does anyone here believe that in 3 years, CeeDee Lamb is not going to be a critical part of this team? I don't think anybody believes that. So the guaranteed money is okay to pay. Like, Lamb's a superstar caliber wide receiver. You pay that guy every time. Like, you can argue maybe you don't want to pay Dak for Micah, and there are valid arguments there. I don't see a single damn one for CeeDee Lamb. Because if you're trying to win games, you need him. If you are rebuilding, guess what? You need him. Because otherwise you got no playmakers for your new young QB. I'm not even looking forward to the excitement over the deal anymore. Of like, Cowboys paid Lamb, woo, super chat party. I just want off the ride. This is the worst roller coaster in human history. It is not fun. It's no longer excitement about having a critical core piece of your team locked in, and he's not going anywhere. He's a part of your future. He's a part of your short term jersey sales. It's just relief to thank God it's finally over. It's not fun anymore. It's a failure of this organization, unquestionably, that this deal is still not done. And it has taken this long, and you're still haggling over the shit you could have been haggling over 5 months ago and prioritized it. Instead, you didn't even bother to meet with him at the Combine. And that's when I knew this was going to be a rough offseason for the Cowboys. That's when I knew this was not going to go well. And here we are in August, and you still ain't got the free square done. Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Game Time. It is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. There are some fun features on Game Time, including the Game Time Picks section. You can filter incredible deals on great seats with the Game Time Picks section of the app. It shows you only the best value on tickets. You can find last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. Exclusive flash deals, sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. You can do zone deals. Always keep an eye out for the zone deals if you can find them. You pick the section. Game Time picks the seats for last-minute savings, or big-time savings in the process. So download the Game Time app today and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase once you create your account. Now, terms apply, but again, create your account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. That's gametime.co, promo code ChatSports. Of note, that's something more entertaining to talk about and not just getting me frustrated. Jerry Jones seemingly implying the Cowboys might not be done looking for interior defensive line depth because, that was something I was worried about since day one of free agency, and at least now they're trying to address it. Here's what Jerry said. Sometimes in the interior line, you get a chance to do some things other clubs right at the end of training camp in that area. What you're seeing right now is important. It's important to see these guys take reps, but tonight won't be the final piece of the puzzle. So I have tried my damnedest to find some options for you guys, but do the Cowboys in general need another defensive tackle? 1 for yes, they do. 0 for no, they do not. Go ahead and let me know what you think the Cowboys need to do here in the comments of today's video. Chauncey Golston seems to be playing a lot of defensive end. They can reduce him inside at times. Same with Marshawn Nealand. I am actually fine at one technique. Jordan Phillips can play that role. Mozzie Smith can do that now that he's over his allergic reaction to peanuts, by the way, which glad that ended up being okay. Justin Rogers can be the nose guard. Osa Odigizua is a good 3 technique. I want to see him finish seasons out, but if he goes down, I got nobody. But Albert Huggins was better in week 2, but he's not like a great football player. Denzel Daxon is going to be the freebie on your practice squad. I would love to find at least another guy that can play the 3 technique spot. And I know Zimmer wants bigger DTs. That's great. And I'm fine to add more of those guys too. DT room is still pretty damn thin. So some cut and trade targets here along the defensive line. Phidarian, Mathis, John Ridgeway. I think the idea of John Ridgeway is better than actual John Ridgeway. We've kind of put him on a pedestal a little bit as Cowboys fans, but I got a lot of bodies at DT, and Dan Quinn already dumped him once. Siaki is your nose guard type in Cleveland. I think Chris Williams, under the radar name, has actually played pretty darn well in camp in the preseason. Decent name to to not sleep on there. Haven't heard of him. It's fine, but he's done a good job so far up in Cleveland. Jonathan Ford, the Packers defensive lineman, might be the odd man out there. James Lynch has ties to Mike Zimmer, so I will mention him as a possibility. DeMarvin Leal was a relatively highly drafted defensive lineman. I don't think he's been that good in Pittsburgh, but it's August. You're not going to get Jonathan Allen. Nothing about the Cowboys operates that way. So these are more bottom-of-the-barrel options, but they're at least bottom of the roster barrel and not bottom of the practice squad potential barrel. I am going to spend time on Ezekiel Elliott today, and I'm not going to go too in-depth on this because the online conversation before the CeeDee Lamb Spider-Man drama was a complete rehashing of the exact same conversation that happened months ago. The Cowboys, in reality, and we can argue the opinion side of it, but the reality is the Cowboys have made it clear he's on this team. There is not a roster competition going on for Ezekiel Elliott. That is why he hasn't played in the preseason. You can argue if you want if he should have had to have earned a role given where he is in his career. That's fine. I'm always up for good debate. The Cowboys don't feel that way, which I told you they weren't going to. When they signed Ezekiel, there was no chance he wasn't going to be on the roster. There's too much other stuff involved when it comes to Zeke and the Cowboys. That's not even necessarily football related. There was no way they were going to sign him and then cut him. That's why I've had Zeke as RB1 on this roster the entire time. He didn't play in the first preseason game. Rico Dowdle did. I think Dowdle's a better runner right now than Ezekiel Elliott. But Zeke's on this team. Who your third running back is, your fourth running back is, I don't really know right now. I think that's up for grabs. Malik Davis got the first reps at running back over Royce Freeman and Deuce Vaughn. This team has hyped up Royce Freeman. I would argue if you're doing this whole committee thing at running back, and you've got your kind of well-rounded guy that can do everything, I think that really is Rico Dowdle. Not at a high level, but he can pass protect, he can catch, he can run, he can do special team stuff, he can do it all for you. You want that third down scat back, you want that explosive player, it's Deuce and nobody. None of these guys are explosive, frankly. Rico can do a little bit of it. I think that Ezekiel Elliott and Royce Freeman can both fit that power back, short yardage type of player. I don't know if you need both of them on your roster. Like, Royce helps you out a lot more on special teams, but it's not the same way as in terms of what he means to the organization. I don't know if you need both. So I'll leave this up for opinion. It's going to be Zeke. But if you could only pick one, who would it be? RY or RY for Royce Freeman, EE for Ezekiel Elliott. The whole Zeke drama online, I was a little frustrated by it because nothing's actually changed. It's been training camp, it's running back, so you don't see that much of actual stuff that matters because there's not a ton of true tackling. He didn't play in the preseason. Nothing about the way you feel about Ezekiel Elliott really should have changed since we've had these conversations back in April. Any of your positives, any of your concerns are still there. You're worried about the athletic juice? That's still there. You think he's going to be great short yardage, goal line back stuff? That hasn't changed. Zeke is who he is at this point. I think it's kind of silly to try to just argue over the same things over and over again. Whatever side you're on, that's fine. I think all of us are going to be cheering for him because it'd be nice to, have success. That's what we all want. We might disagree on the best ways to get to success, and that's fine. But Zeke is who he is, and that's okay. Now, one roster move here for you guys. The Cowboys have now officially signed Carl Lawson. We had those contract details too. 1-year deal worth $1.13 million base, up to $2.13 million with incentives for 5 sacks, 7 sacks, 55% playtime, then 65% playtime, and playoffs. And it's each of those, so they double if it's all of them. I don't think it's going to. So pretty cheap deal there for the Cowboys to make room for Lawson. By the way, they did put Earl Bostick on IR, ending his season following his surgery previously.